I'm Kevin.
I'm Kristen.
And we are the Marriage in the Buff podcast, where we talk about everything marriage.
And other stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And this is episode 1 of...
Season 2.
Season 2. We made it through our whole season. Life got really, really busy. We had the EXO Marriage Conference we hosted at church.
Yep.
Then Easter was right there.
Yep.
And just a lot of stuff. We were down in... Felicity, Ohio, just outside of Cincinnati, on the Kentucky border there, right off the Ohio River last weekend for couples camp.
A week ago right now.
Yeah, a week ago right now. We're recording here on Saturday. We were there. It was amazing. Weather was okay. Friday we got there and it decided to rain like an inch in the afternoon/evening. We met up with our couples, which was really cool because we had 3 couples from Crossroads, which is a church at Host there in the Cincinnati area. Us, we came down from Buffalo.
Yep.
And we had a couple that came all the way from Arizona.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. They traveled very far without ever going to the church.
Never been to the church.
Just
never
saw it online.
Been to anything like that and showed up, and it was an amazing weekend. And so there was us 5 couples and like 2,000 other people, over 1,000 couples back in the woods, off the grid, working on their marriages and inviting God into them.
You mentioned that there's 5. It's just groups of 5 that camp together, share a fire, and share camaraderie. So like in the evening when there's fire time, that's your 5, your little core group that you talk to. But we made friends from outside our core group too. Yeah,
we made some friends from Kentucky. We made friends from a little bit of everywhere. Lots of Ohio people, as always. Funny fact, this year, it's kind of weird. Today we had prom. One of our daughters had junior prom. Our little one had junior prom.
Our youngest.
And my wife was talking to one of the other moms, and she said, "Oh, my daughter says something about the 80s. I wasn't even alive in the 80s.
Yeah, she had not been born yet.
So it's funny when our oldest girl, Skylar, was in pre-K and kindergarten. We were the young parents. And now that our youngest, Kaya, is a junior, we're the old people.
We're the very old people. But at couples camp, we were the old people in our group.
Yeah, we showed up. We met up with our group. And we didn't know, you don't know what to expect. Like, if you're a group leader, you have the names, you know where they're from.
So ours was random.
You don't know it.
You could have people who know you and get together and you could know your group, but ours was random.
Yeah, random's more fun. But so we didn't know anything about them or anything. We show up and it's a young couple. We're at their house, and then there's another young couple.
1 year.
Yeah, they've been married 1 year. Another young couple, another young couple, another young couple, and then another. I don't think anyone was. I think the oldest was maybe 31.
But and not just that.
And we have eclipsed that for a while.
Young.
Yeah, we had 2 people that were married a year and one, I believe, 4 years.
And I don't mean married young. I mean married for a short amount of time.
Yeah, the longest was like 6 years. And then we're working on 26, so we got a little more experience, I guess is the way to put it.
No, it was good. It was very good. So I think sometimes going into those things, we're not really sure where God is going to put us, if he's going to put us in a role of being mentored or in a role of mentoring others.
Yeah. And the really cool thing about that is it doesn't matter the age.
No.
It doesn't matter how long you've been married, because we learn a lot from people who've been married a year, some even less. And we learn a lot from people who've been married longer than us. Some of our best friends have been married over 40 years.
Yeah.
And they pour into us so much. On the other end of that, like, we do premarital a lot. And those premarital couples, we learn things from them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing that, when we're going through the process with them, that we're learning things from them. And then when they get married and they come back and they tell us things, we're still learning things from them. So that's the really cool thing about marriage and community. It doesn't matter what age, it doesn't matter what stage or how long you've been married. We can all learn from each other. And that's what makes it really, really amazing to be part of community. This is learning from each other, leaning on each other, helping each other, things like that.
I think to your point, premarital wise, I think we did it completely wrong.
We didn't do it.
When we first got married, we did everything wrong. So when we are doing premarital and seeing what others are doing, we actually we don't feel more mature than any of them.
No.
We feel way less mature because I don't know about you, but I look at myself at their stage of the game and they're so far ahead of where we were.
Yeah, for sure.
We're totally learning from them, even though they think that they're learning wisdom from us.
That's true. That's true. God works in mysterious ways, and I think marriage is definitely one of them. The people that you have around you and things like that. He kind of uses some reverse psychology. You think you know something, but well, hold on, I'm going to show you something.
Yeah.
And he can use anyone or anything at any time to do it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I did want to give one more shout out to something great that happened at couples camp. We got to listen to a couple that we had admired for a bit, who wrote Vertical Marriage.
They wrote Vertical Marriage. Their names are Dave and Ann Wilson. They are from the Detroit area. They have a church up there. They also do the Focus on the Family podcast. They lead that. They have been doing Weekend to Remember for like 25 plus years.
And we went to that,
we went to
20
that
years? No, not 20 years. Yeah, 20 years?
Yeah, because 20 years ago.
Almost 20 years ago. Almost.
Trini was a baby.
Yeah, she's 19.
So yeah, she'll be 20 this year.
20, yeah, almost 20 years ago.
So we went to that, and it was really, really great. And I tell you, 20 years ago, we were at a different stage of our marriage. And like, I don't think we took a lot of that to heart. I think we kind of missed it. But it's really, really funny because when you listen to them, when you hear them speak, and when you read their book, they went to it too, and they didn't get it. They went to it right before they got married, and it wasn't for years later that they actually understood it. So that's kind of funny that God does use those things. Like he puts events and things in our path, that are kind of like planting that seed or watering a seed that's going to come to fruition later, which is really, really cool. But yeah, they were amazing. They gave a great talk. We heard them 3 times. We didn't get a chance to connect because they had to get back to Detroit because he was preaching on Sunday morning.
Yeah, I know you would have liked to have met him and said hello.
Yeah, so hopefully we can do that sometime. But yeah, I think one of the things that they said is they've been doing marriage ministry for over 35 years and they've never seen anything like couples camp.
Well, 2,000 people, or over 1,000 couples.
Yeah, 2,000 people, like off the grid in the woods, no electricity. Ladies, no bathrooms. More porta potties than I've ever seen anywhere in my life.
Porta potties are clean. I don't even.
No, I'm just saying.
Like,
but I've never seen so many.
On Friday.
Yeah, and so it's really, really. But these people just focusing on one another, their marriage, and God, and like God just working in amazing ways in them, and the stories and the ripples are not about what happened last weekend in Ohio. It's about the reverb and the ripples that are going to be going for generations to come. So it's really, really cool. And, guys, we'll be back there next year for sure. And I'm telling you, we've been to a lot of different marriage things, but that's number one. And next, a year, Jenny Allen's going to be there speaking, and her husband, Zach. So that's going to be crazy. So 2,000 people this year, who knows what's going to be there next year. So we'd love to have you join us.
But you know what I don't understand? So I just don't get how it's so hard for people to get over the camping side of it. I really don't. It's almost flabbergasting to me that that's what you're focused on. Like, oh my gosh, I could never be in a tent. Or, oh my gosh, I could, like that part, I'm just thinking to have that gift of getting away, focusing on your marriage, unplugging, like really seeing something that you will never, likely never experience again, that you have all of these people who are just at all these different stages, and the prayer tent and the visions that are coming out of there, and just the things that, like, you're worried about using a porta potty for not even 2 full days. Like, it almost seems so shallow to me that I know when you talk about comfort, it's like, how have we gotten so far that that's what we're concerned about? And I'm not talking about people who have legitimate mobility issues. Like, we do know a couple couples who would not be able to manage it, because you do have to walk from your tent to the worship tent 4 to 5 times through the weekend. Like,
and
that would be the minimum.
Things. And I mean, if you have physical limitations, that's one thing. But if you're uncomfortable with something, that's just totally another one. And, you know, we God did not design us to be comfortable. We are the first few generations here, which we are totally comfortable. We don't have to worry about where our food comes. It comes from the grocery store, and the grocery store is always there. And we don't have to worry about shelter, because you know what? There's plenty of houses to go buy or rent, or you know what? If you can't afford that, then the government will give you one. We don't have to worry about, you know, taking care of things. We don't have to worry about winter. We're here in Buffalo, and winter sucks sometimes. But guess what? Everybody's got a house to go to, and there's the city mission, and there's different things where we don't really ever have to worry about our physical needs. And I think that's made us weak in a lot of ways, that we're so comfortable. We can't imagine 2 nights in the woods or wherever it is without electricity, without noise and distraction, without our bed, though our beds are just as comfortable.
Well, that's the other thing. The funny thing to me is I don't even think it's an uncomfort thing, because they let you drive your car all the way to your site. You're not hiking anywhere. You're not carrying anything.
You can if you want to. They'll let you.
You're not nothing.
You have everything you need.
Any fancy REI tent and cot and $1,000 camping item that you want to make your weekend as comfortable as possible. You can bring espresso machines for the campsite.
We're having espresso. We have this little thing that you put a cake up in and you pour the water in it.
That's my point. Why?
It works. It's amazing. You have fresh coffee and all you need is hot water. And if you have a jet boil or a stove, then you're all set. For as much as it could possibly be uncomfortable, we have enough devices that just neutralize that.
Right. Like it's almost embarrassing. Like when people say to me, "Oh my gosh, no, absolutely no." I'm almost like, "Huh?" Like it's just so, I don't even know the word for it. I can't even describe my feeling. It's probably wrong and it's probably ungodly, but I get super annoyed.
I think the X factor in the whole thing is this. It's statistically proven the poorest person in the United States is wealthier and has more than 90+% of the people in the world. Mm-hmm. There are people who sleep outside every day, who sleep in a tent, or maybe it's a hut with no floor, or they don't have clean water right there, or they don't have this. There are people in this world that will never have a bathroom that we have. But we get upset because we can't imagine, we can't fathom, 2 days. 2 days without a shower. There are people who will never experience that in their entire life.
You know, it's funny you say that because I don't really akin the camping experience to that, because I'm like, okay, we're going camping, and if you can't devote that to your marriage because like that's what's stopping you, like, okay, there's that separate. But then also at work is when I start to think of what you're saying about the whole how grateful we should be. Mm-hmm. Because I will say this, there are definitely like bad feelings about, okay, I don't get paid as much as this person, but I'm asked to do this, this, and this. And people start to stack each other up against each other. And oh, I didn't get this and I should have, and I'm entitled to this because I've been here for 8 years, but those people got promoted. And look at, like, I hear so much of the nitpickies that I start to think of what you were just saying, how we are so much better off, that I almost feel like, so I have a new team at work and they don't fully know me yet because we're new, right? So this one, and these people are all mostly on the youngish side. Like, one who was born after I graduated high school. So, like, I mean, not one, probably most, many, probably. It doesn't matter.
That's a long time ago.
One guy, I didn't want to say kid or gentleman, or I could, came up and he was like, hey, how are you doing? And I was like, I am great. And they're like, a little bit of sarcasm. I'm like, no, there's no sarcasm. I am great. And then I'm like, we're here. We have electricity. There's warmth. I'm getting a paycheck. I'm sitting here. I'm having my, like, there's nothing to really get upset about. And I feel like people get a lot like upset whenever somebody, and they probably hate me because whenever they complain about something, I do say, I understand you have a legitimate point and I listen. But when they get to a really low spot, I'll say, let's just put a little bit of this in perspective. I also know I probably, for my job title, one of the lowest paid. I understand that. So I can empathize with you, but I choose to say, we are so much better than people who do not have running water, who have no access to health care, who have no, and then I probably just make people feel bad.
So is this my turn to flip things now? Is that where we're going with this?
I don't know what you're going to say. The camping thing isn't usually where I think of that, but okay. I understand what you were saying.
So if we think of the camping thing, we think of the work thing.
Advocate.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But just think about your marriage and think about how often we hear people with that.
Complaining?
How often do we hear couples complaining, well, oh, but you don't know what he did or she did, or if she would just do this or he would just do that, or look, my marriage isn't like your marriage. If it were like your marriage, I would be happy.
Do you know what someone said to us a couple weeks ago?
Maybe if I didn't forget.
Just so you know, since he turned a certain age, he's been forgetting a lot of stuff. Someone said to us, you guys are what I want. That is the marriage I want. And I thought, if you went through everything we went through, like, people just see on the outside how much work. How many times today have we fought?
Today? I haven't fought any. You have been the one that had a problem today.
Don't start. I walked in the car. I got in the car and you told me how much you hated my shoes and my hair. I did nothing. I was happy drinking my coffee. I've noticed that's when it happened. Do you remember I was telling the story? Coffee? I'm always drinking coffee. But I walked in the car. I'm happy. I've got my coffee. We're going somewhere. I'm sitting there. You turn to me and go, why are you wearing that stupid coat or something? Why do you zip that coat up?
I remember that.
Are you is there something going on in the car that makes you just lash out at me?
No, but I think that I think back to the EXO thing when Jimmy Evans was talking about riding the car, that riding the car is the worst part and everything. But let me go back to one thing before we continue down this. And I just want to say this because it was an amazing thing. Most of the time when you and I, if we're going somewhere to, especially to lead something, if we're going to speak somewhere, if we're leading a retreat, if we're going to a conference, if we're doing any of this kind of stuff, like we will fight on that ride. And it can be 7 hours to Cincinnati, or it can be 20 minutes to church, or whatever it may be. We will fight. And I know we're not alone because I know we've
people
heard
say that.
Our pastors say it, and other people, and Dave and Ann said it last weekend, and Jimmy Evans said, everybody says it, like the devil wants to get in there. And, when we're doing the EXO conference at church, we made it a point that, listen, we're not going to let anything get in between us. We're just not going to fight.
But we covered that particular with really prayer, good.
Too. We covered in prayer and everything, and it was really great. And then we got the flu, and it sucked, but we made it. And we didn't. So this weekend or last weekend when we went down to Cincinnati, we were to the point where we were last year when I said to Chris, and I was like, this is stupid. Let's just turn around and go home, which was between Columbus and Cincinnati. And I said,
that didn't happen this year. That happened last year. Clarify that.
Yeah, last year. And I said, Kristen, we're good. We haven't fought at all.
Made it to the point.
We're great. Last year, drive. We were ready to go. So then we went and we were good. Like we went and we actually went into the whole thing great. And it was amazing. You're just talking, made me think of that. That, you know what, I don't know. I think maybe we still got some prayer covering those. We're going to go do this. Like, keep the devil away. When we get out now, that all bets are off. God only knows.
The ride home was fine too.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't particularly get angry in the car. I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
I just think, I don't know.
I don't know why.
I don't know. But back on track, because we went off track here. But we do. We have so many people that will say things like that. That'll be like, "Oh, if I only had your," and trust me, you don't want our marriage because you don't want all the crap we've been through and all the stuff that's still there that we're working through. And you know what? You might see it on YouTube, or you may see a post on Instagram, or you might see
these people just
Facebook,
know us.
or but what you see there is a snapshot. It's a highlight and everything else. And the reality
I have no Facebook anymore.
The reality, God's good. The reality of 99% of the time is that's not who we are on a daily basis. It is, but like, it's just not that smooth and easy. And the big problem we have living in a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok world.
Yeah.
We're obsessed with that 30 seconds. We get a glimpse of whatever it is. Hollywood, we get that glimpse of this. Oh, look at these people. Look at all they have.
Looking in at someone?
Looking in. It's like when that brand new Corvette passes you by. Or here on the island, we got Lamborghinis and Ferraris too. When it goes flying by you and you're like, wow, if I only... But you don't see the mess that guy's got at home, or what he's been through, or how he got the money, or what he has to do to keep that, or you don't see those things. And in the marriages we have... Unfortunately, we can idolize or something like that. It's like, man, and it can be a celebrity. It can be a friend of yours. It can be your pastor. It can be whoever it is.
An acquaintance that you don't know the day-to-day of, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I know them because you see everything that they post every day. So you're like, I know them, but you don't. But let me give you a flip side to that.
Okay.
I know it's super bad because it's not just the looking in, but it's how we're acting the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So let me clarify. I wanted to take some pictures, and just to let everybody know why I don't have Facebook. Okay. If you work for Facebook, get me a phone number, because I was fully hacked and I can't get it back. Someone literally went in, they changed everything. They set up two-factor identification going somewhere that's not me. So when I reset my password, even sent them an ID, it's telling me, okay, we sent you the two-factor, but it doesn't go to me. So I can't log in. I can't finish. So then I can't change it because I can't log in to change it. And there's nobody to talk to.
And this has literally been going on for almost 2 months.
February.
Oh, February. I was thinking.
Right. It was the week we went to Kalahari when I hurt my ankle because I couldn't post any pictures at Kalahari.
Maybe you got hacked at Kalahari.
No, it was before that.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so going back to the opposite. So I wanted to take pictures. Mm-hmm. We know I don't have social media because I was hacked. So I do have TikTok and Instagram, but I don't ever use it, so it doesn't really matter. So I don't even know if I still have TikTok. I haven't been on in like a year. But regardless, so you know what one of my daughters said?
Make a new Facebook account.
Yeah. But when I was trying to take pictures, they said, what is the point of taking a picture if you can't post it?
Oh, yes.
I'm like,
yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. And I think we do that, though.
What? That's the only reason you're doing things? They want, tonight, I'm going to get dressed so I can take Instagram pictures. You're not living life anymore. Now you are a slave to social media.
Yeah.
And the only reason you're doing whatever you're doing is so that you get that dopamine rush of a like or a follow or a, oh my gosh, so cute, or you go girl, or whatever on there.
So, all right, let's get back to reality. But no, with that, I think, unfortunately, we do that in our marriage too. We do it in our lives every day. Like, how many times do we put a front on of something that we are not? How many times will someone ask, say, hey, how are you doing? You're like, oh, good, everything's great, when you're not. How many times will you walk into work like carrying a huge burden and just, fake it all day? How many times do you walk into church or walk into, maybe it's your friend's house or your family's house, and everything can be falling apart inside of you or inside of your marriage or your kid, whatever, and just smile and go on with it? How many times do you get into bed with your husband or your wife and you have this stuff, but you just won't share it because, one, you're afraid to be vulnerable, but two, like, I can't share that. It's like, how could I do it? And it's like a huge pyramid. And like, we don't want to let anybody into that. And it's not just one person. Sometimes
but you
it's
don't
a
want to let
husband
the
and a
wrong
wife.
person in too. So, I mean, there's definitely going to be situations where it's not safe to share.
Right.
Things.
But there needs to be a situation where it is. And, in your bedroom, in your house, in your home, in your relationship with your spouse, that's the number one place that should be safe, no matter what. That's where vulnerability comes from, and
it's up to the spouse to make it safe as well. Yeah. Because if you know that you're going to say something that's just going to be hit with criticism, like if I was like, oh, Kristen, what are you doing? I'm shopping for more Converse. I know he's going to be nasty. So that's not a safe space to share it.
Let's just get this out. You're wearing shoes with 1950 technology that sucked in 1950, but that's all they had. Nike had not been invented. Adidas, Hoka.
Today,
none of these things
right
had been invented. They sucked.
And I was too lazy to walk upstairs to get my Hokas this morning.
That's just bad technology.
I do like
You're not driving a Model T. Bad technology. Things improve. Throw them away. They're horrible on your feet. The podiatrist told you. They're horrible. Throw them away.
My feet are semi-okay in the moment.
Throw them away.
So,
but anyway. That was a tangent again. Lots of tangents.
It was just showing that sometimes it's not always safe to share.
And that goes both ways. Sometimes we have to push the boundaries and put our feelings out there, knowing that we could get hurt, but hoping that we don't. The other side of that, sometimes we need to keep our mouth shut and let our spouse speak, no matter what it is, just to build that vulnerability.
Yeah,
because
on both
you know
sides.
what?
That's good.
Sometimes we're the one that needs to be vulnerable too. And it doesn't mean it's today. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe it's next year. Maybe it's in 2 minutes. But also, we need that vulnerability opens communication, and we have to have open communication.
But also understand that most times when someone is going to say something to you, it's not, and this isn't you directly, like this isn't a you thing, but I think in general, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person receiving it has to fix it.
No.
So the listen was really good. Maybe even listen and ask, is there something I can do to help with that? Like just can I help with that? Or do you need help? Like, do you want my help, or do you want me to listen? Because I think on both sides, and I don't think you're particularly bad at that. I just don't think you want to hear. I don't know. But my point is, I think there are times when people just only want to fix.
Yeah.
So then that shuts off the other person from sharing, right? Because some things they just might need to let out, and that's it.
Yeah. And guys, I think we're more guilty of that than the ladies are, because trust me, in my mind, when she starts talking and it's going to be some long thing, and you can kind of sense those things, you're just like, let me tell you. And it's like, oh, can I get the concise version? But then when she starts sharing something that is an issue, that is a problem, that is something she's facing, in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, do this and this. Like, I am in my mind trying to come up with the easiest, quickest way to fix it. Easiest for her, quickest for her, really quickest for me, because if I can circumvent this thing, I can get ahead of it and I don't have to hear the long version. But at the same time, there are times we just need to be quiet and listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes back to us because I know that's one of the things that we have faced, that, you know what, I'm quick to give you an answer, but I do listen. I listen to everything you say.
And I know
100% I listen to everything you
listen.
say. But one of my biggest issues is like, I don't feel like I'm heard sometimes, and I don't feel like you do listen. And I think that might be a learned thing. I think that, because for so long we did go through, and it's just like, you're telling me something, I just want to, okay, I'm going to give you the answer to it. And I think maybe that's something you learned, because I don't think that's a normal female response.
It's not.
So it comes back to bite me, that it's like,
right.
all right, I just need you to hear this. I'm not asking you to fix it.
Right.
I don't even care if you agree with it. I just want you to hear it.
So I think I think you're right. I think it's not a female trait to try and fix something.
Mm-hmm.
Although based on the situation, like if someone at work came to me, I might ask them how they would fix it, but I know they're asking me for help to fix something. So that might be a different situation, but like in a relationship. But I do think it is a female response, which is not a male response, to want to validate what you're saying. So for example, if you want to tell me something and you're giving me you have strong opinions on things.
Really?
You usually you're not wishy-washy about things. You're usually black and white. And I can see lots of different shades of many things. But if you're way on the opposite side of it and I can't see it, it's hard for me to validate what you're saying. So you might not feel heard because A, I'm not going to try and fix it. I'm going to listen. And B, I may tell you my point of view that you don't want to hear because my natural inclination is to try and validate what you're saying. And if I can't, I'm going to have you try and see my point of view or a different point of view. And then because of that, you don't feel heard. So maybe I don't know, say, I hear you. I don't know what I'm supposed to reply. I understand. I don't understand.
So
I don't have a conclusion.
You're all over the place. We're actually all over the place today.
Heard.
But I think the biggest thing, that comfort thing and the uncomfortable thing, like we want that quick, easy comfort. We want what everybody else has. We don't want what they have. We want what we think they have. Let me say that.
We want
we don't want what they have because we don't even know what they have.
Right.
And one of the best quotes out of EXO this year, I thought, was that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. And we forget that. We look at people who have been married 20, 30, 40 years and they have kids and their kids have been married and everybody's successful and they're happy and all this other stuff. That looks really, really great. But why does it look really, really great? Because they watered it. They put the work into it. They didn't give up.
But they're not always happy. People aren't always happy. Like, you're going to go through stuff that is not happy.
Yeah, you're going to. And it's not. And I mean, Jesus says that, pick up your cross daily and follow me. The world has trouble. I have trouble. I mean, there's just so many different quotes that, God didn't make us to be happy. That's kind of like the other book we're reading right now.
Sacred Marriage.
Sacred Marriage. What if marriage was meant to make you holy and not happy? How does what a paradigm shift that is from everything the world tells us. Like,
but
it's not
when
supposed
I'm
to
sitting
be
there
easy.
reading the Bible, because right now I am walking through James, but when I'm sitting there, I was thinking, the things that we're reading are quite opposite the world.
Yeah, I mean, you're reading James, which says, count it a blessing, count it a joy.
Exactly.
When you face troubles. I mean, you can't get much more countercultural than that.
No, because culture tells us it's not okay to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's not okay to do something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
It's not okay to be hurt sometimes.
Yeah. And let me say this, being married 25 years, there is no one who's been married 25 years who has not been uncomfortable. There's no one who's been married 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, 1 year, 1 week that has not been uncomfortable. So you got to throw the comfort aside. You got to look at the greater good, and you got to look at why did God put you together? What is your purpose? And, I remember 20 years ago when the Purpose Driven Life came out with Rick Warren, and everybody was reading it and all this stuff because everybody wanted to know what their purpose is. We still do. I think that's always been a question of humankind. God, why am I here? What am I here for? And everything like that. And that was great, but not 100%, because we do have an individual purpose. But when we get married, we have a purpose for us. We have a purpose for our marriage, which actually in many ways comes above that individual purpose, because in marriage, we're called to lay down our lives for one another, to put the other one in front of us, to take their priority, put them in a place of priority. So then our unified purpose of putting one another in a place of priority, then that really, it unifies our purpose and our calling together.
But it also enforces the individual purpose too. So I think people miss that. They think, oh, I have to let all this go. But in that perfect, the perfect
2 equals 1.
Yes, but like a very following what Jesus is saying. So a very functional marriage of putting the other person first, then you would be constantly laying down your wants and putting my individual wants and purpose above yours. But I would be doing the same thing and putting yours above mine. And it's almost like so sacrificial. And in last year's EXO conference, they did, do you remember? I don't know who it was. It was the one that did the surprise wedding. But they kept going below the other person. And it's like, who can sacrifice more? Like, I will give you this. No, I will, and by doing that, you both get your needs met.
Yeah. And when you do that, then that purpose becomes more clear too, because you're working together. And if you're both getting your needs met, if you're both doing what you should, two is becoming one, then your strengths are, in most relationships, your strengths are my weaknesses and my strengths are your weaknesses. And we together, and especially when you put Jesus in there, like, you're ready for whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, the uncomfortable is okay, because you got each other to lean onto and lean into, and you have Jesus there too. So it's okay. And, we're not going to be comfortable. He was not comfortable. If he died on a cross for my sins, how in the world could I ever think, oh, I'm going to have this easy, comfortable life?
But getting back to that, I almost think that couples camp is too comfortable, right? Like, no, I know.
Next year we're walking in.
No, I'm not walking.
We're going to strap it
to
your back.
What I'm saying is, like, why not see how much sacrifice we really could do to, like, 4 couples going into the wilderness with nothing, with no phones, with, like,
let's go.
Really, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you were talking about
ready.
Going to Alaska.
Hold on.
But my point is, like, really bare and just listening to God, because you have no distractions. You have nothing. Whereas in couples camp, you still have distractions. You've got meals, you've got people, you've got stuff.
We're not eating?
Yes, but I'm saying to you that all of the stuff is still a distraction.
All right, hold on. I'm all with you on this, and we're going to get back to it. But let me ask you. So we're going to do the thing where what I hear you saying is,
whatever you hear is wrong.
You want to have couples camp 2.0, which would be naked and afraid couples camp
Oh my gosh,
edition.
no, I hate being
Like,
naked.
what are you bringing? I got shoes because I cannot go barefoot. But if I can have something else, it's going to be a knife.
If I was in Naked and Afraid, we would not. We would not survive. First of all,
hey,
because
I'm good.
Your
good.
item would not be a knife. Like everybody brings a knife and the flint or something like that. Like real things. You'd be bringing shoes.
I would. I need shoes.
And I'd be bringing a blanket because I'm freezing and I can't just sit somewhere. I need a blanket.
You got issues.
So I have a big down comforter, and I'd go with the biggest blanket I could get. I need to hide from the bugs. I need to hide from the raccoons. They can't see me.
They can't see you. They can see you. You can't see
cover
them.
it all up.
All right.
Maybe a sleeping bag.
Okay. All right. So let's get back to this. So yeah, I'm with you. Like, I'm good. Let's go back in the woods. It's all good. We'll go back in the woods. Nothing there. Like, we'll be off the grid. No cell phone service. No anything.
Right.
I'm good with that.
Right.
But here's my problem.
What?
We've been doing these retreats. We tried.
That's my point.
We tried to take couples to a cabin, an Amish-built, beautiful cabin.
Gorgeous
with electricity. And there is no phone service. The deal breaker, literally, was a porta potty that was
they had
brand
to
new.
walk outside and go to a clean porta potty. There's no other people using. Like, I don't understand.
People, you can reach out to us online, Kevin and marriageinthebuff.com. If you are ready to step into the wilderness and do this, let's go. But we need to get some new people because our people, we know a lot of people. And a lot of people we know, I mean, there's a couple that will go, and one of them,
or half of a couple is like, I'm in, and the other one's like,
she should be having a baby right about now.
No.
So they're not going to come for a while. So if y'all are ready, come on, Kevin at marriageinthebuff.com. Let's go. And like, I'm not even talking about the cabin. Like, we can. It's warm outside. Let's go.
Okay. So when you hear me saying this, you know how you did I hear you say this.
Naked and afraid.
So it was not me saying, hey, let's go. Just see where we end up. That wasn't what I was saying. I was saying that for someone to say it's too hard to do what they have already set up a couples camp seems to me like it could get way worse. Like, and that would still be okay.
Yeah.
Like, that would still be okay. I'm not saying let's just jump in the woods somewhere either. Like, there's a happy medium.
I'm good for the woods.
I do think.
Which is coming, guys. Like, the retreats are coming.
Yeah, retreats are coming.
In the woods somewhere, like, very, very, very soon. Mm-hmm. Like, we're going to transition to.
Are we still planning our next retreat in July? Is that still the goal, July?
July. That one's going to be a little. We're not going to be back in the woods in the middle of nowhere. We may do some camping. I'm not 100% on that, but it's not going to be rustic.
No. But I just meant.
But yeah,
still
July we're going to do another treat. We're going to put some dates up there, get it on the calendar and stuff like that. We're definitely looking forward to that. I'm working through a message that we're going to use for the rest of the year, I think, of what we're going to teach on. And
until our next vision, which is next January.
Yeah. And it's like been on my heart for quite a while. And I think it was really good when we were at couples camp, got a little clarification, heard some stuff from the stage that my wife told me you couldn't say. So it's all good. So I think I am 100% crystal clear on that. And I think it is a message that everybody needs to hear. And it is a message that works great for marriage, but will work for every area of your life. And hopefully one day I'm going to write a book with it.
I'll sit back and just throw in grace when people look really horrified.
That's okay. It's okay. Not for everyone. Jesus was not for everyone. No, he was for everyone.
It's the narrow road.
But they didn't think he was for everyone. And I think, think about that. That's like marriage. It's for everyone, but not everyone thinks it's for them. A happy marriage is for everyone, but not everyone thinks it's for them. A good marriage, a long marriage, that's God's design.
Just finish.
Exactly. And to finish, you got to get uncomfortable. You got to put in the work. You got to show up when you don't want to.
Sometimes use a porta potty.
Yeah. Hey, let's pee in the woods. That's even better.
I'm not peeing.
Who needs a porta potty? There's woods.
All right. And with that,
Yeah. So
good
that's
night.
it. Next week, I don't know what we're going to be talking about. Hopefully, I don't know. This is a very busy week for us
We
again.
keep saying, hopefully a guest, because
I
we
know,
have
we
so
got- we
many
got, like,
lined up.
Yeah. And we
And we
actually
just
have
to really do it.
2 that we lined up at couples camp, one from Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
one from Kentucky that we're going to
Mhm.
be talking to.
So
with
we'll
some
have
good,
some
crazy
like,
stories.
split phone.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
something.
Plus, we have local people
Technology.
we've been talking to. Plus, I got some
Lots.
other people that want to talk to. So we got
I
a lot of
want
people. We just got to make it
season 2
happen.
to be just jam packed with stories.
But I just started a new job, so life is kind of crazy right now.
but good.
But it's all
crazy.
good. So
All
we will get
good.
figured out for guests and everything.
Getting into new routine, which also we felt some clarity on some things that we need to take away in our life and focus more on the important stuff.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that keeps happening. That's like our theme for the year. We started at Vision Retreat and we've slowly been like focusing.
Yeah. Yeah. So guys, like the podcast, subscribe. We're going to get one out here every week. We're going to do 10 plus episodes this season, take a little break and then do it again. We're going to try to break it up into a few chunks over the year, but, come back next week, subscribe, head to the website, marriageandthebuff.com. Look us up on Instagram at marriageandthebuff. If you want to email us Kevin at marriageandthebuff.com. Got any questions, let us know. You'd like us to answer, talk about anything like that. If you want to be on the show, if you've been through something, if you're going through something, if you've seen God Up show up in crazy ways, like we have seen miracles lately, we have seen crazy things, we have seen marriages restored, we see God working all over the place. If that is you, you'd like to be on it, just reach out, Kevin at marriageandthebuff.com, like, subscribe, and we will see you guys next week.
And
yes.
if anyone works for Facebook.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Fix her Facebook so I don't have to hear about this anymore. I mean, good Lord willing.
He really hasn't heard about it. Seriously though, just as serious. Have I really complained about not having Facebook?
Not at all, honey. Never. No.
No, that sounded sarcastic. No, seriously. Am I complaining in general life?
At certain times you do complain.
So you're making it seem like I'm all upset that I don't have. I'm not really upset. I'm just upset I
You're
don't
wonderful.
have
You're
my
never
pictures
upset.
of the past and things like that. That's what I'm more upset about.
We have pictures. That's okay. Anyway, guys, don't get your Facebook hacked. I mean, it's a big life change if we don't have Facebook. It's okay.
It's really not. I was on
if
for
we
less
lose
than
all,
minutes a
like
day,
if a
but
big
it's
solar
okay.
flare comes and knocks all the electricity out,
That would be
or like
okay.
that
We're all on the
Tesla
same.
death ray takes us out or something,
All
we'll
right.
be okay.
Have a good
God's
night.
got us. Love
Bye.
you guys. See you next week.